Good evening. We begin tonight with a pledge from OC Transpo's new boss to improve service. Rick Leary unveiling a 10-point plan aimed at boosting reliability and rebuilding trust. Not an easy task given the service's troubled track record. CTV's Tyler Fleming starts us off.
After getting off the LRT, Olivia Dito usually stops short from taking the bus. Her reason?
It's not very consistent. You're waiting, and it's never coming. Hence why I'm taking Ubers daily, and it's not reliable anymore.
OC Transpo's reputation of unreliability is a top complaint for many riders. Dozens of bus trips are canceled every day.
They're too slow. There's not enough buses.
LRT isn't much better. Passengers stranded during breakdowns and ongoing axle issues means fewer trains on the track, derailing service further.
We want to build the most customer-focused transit system in Canada.
On Tuesday, OC Transpo's new general manager, Rick Leary, announcing a customer-first action plan, developed after spending the last 30 days speaking with transit users, workers, and city staff.
And to get there, we need to have a couple of things.
First up, Line 1 LRT, which is expected to return to full double-car service by mid-June. And throughout the summer, some older buses will be retired and replaced with electric ones, and more mechanics will be hired.
Building that reliability will build confidence in the residents, hopefully bring more people back to public transit.
While there's still no opening date for the LRT East extension, the plan also looks at new ways to make money through advertising partnerships. And if the province takes control of the LRT, OC Transpo could save $85 million. The goal seems simple, a functioning transit system, but the challenge...
Been hearing this for a year now.
I mean, they never do anything yet.
Making it happen and getting riders on board.
And I know it's asking a lot of our customers to say, please be patient, but the pieces are coming together.
Ubers are expensive, but you know what? It gets me where I need to be on time.
Tyler Fleming, CTV News.
It is a concerning report on how projects are managed within the Ottawa Police Service. The city's Auditor General raising concerns about oversight, budgeting, and accountability when it comes to some of the service's biggest initiatives, some worth hundreds of millions of dollars. CTV's Caitlin Wilson reports.
Next spring, this new police facility is set to open in Barrhaven, but it's $10 million over budget, largely due to poor soil conditions. The city's Auditor General says major projects like this one lack proper management and oversight.
The oversight seems to be lacking, and as a taxpayer, I think we all have to be concerned about that.
Those questions about who's tracking these projects and how closely at the center of a new report presented virtually Tuesday to the Ottawa Police Services Board. The Auditor General finding some projects are moving forward without proper budgets and in some cases inaccurate information provided to oversight bodies.
Overall, the decentralized approach to project management increases the risk of inconsistent project management practices, incomplete project reporting, and reduced comparability between projects.
The report also finds some projects are under-resourced and project costs are not always consistently documented or reported. One example, the new district policing model, which started with a $600,000 budget. That number grew to $2.2 million, but the report shows spending to date is much higher, $5.2 million.
Not having a formally approved budget from the outset of the project, there is an increased risk of cost overruns and weakened accountability for project spending.
Police Chief Eric Stubbs agrees improvements are needed, saying the service took on many of these projects after years of staffing and financial pressures.
Everyone was so passionate that they could deliver on this. They thought it was important, and we went with it. And we knew that's a problem, and we knew that perfection would not occur, and there'd be a lot of hurdles. But the good news is that the bulk of the work is already done.
The service has accepted all 7 recommendations from the Auditor General, including everything from training to budgeting. Caitlin Wilson, CTV News.
Well, from a frost advisory that we had overnight to some sun and then some clouds, it was a bit of a mixed bag weather-wise here in the capital. Our first look at what to expect next. Jackie.
Well, we're already starting to see that active weather move through for the overnight, especially around Kingston and Smiths Falls. This will carry on into tomorrow morning. So you need the umbrella. You definitely need the rain boots as well, because we are likely anticipating 10 to 15 millimeters of rain. The bulk of this coming in the early part of the morning, where we will see a little bit of a break in the early part of our afternoon. However, we might still see the return, especially around Brockville and Cornwall area later on in the evening into the overnight for Thursday. Temperature-wise, though, it will be much cooler than what we saw today. Again, we aren't going to see much in terms of sunshine. It's going to be quite windy, too, from 7 a.m. close to just after the noon hour. We've got gusts up to 40 kilometers per hour, and the light rain could continue around the 8 o'clock hour. We'll get a closer look at your long-term forecast in just a bit.
An employee at a Canada tire shop is dead after a tire ruptured in a mechanical bay over the weekend. Police say officers were called to the business on Edgewater Street Saturday afternoon after a man in his 20s suffered critical injuries. Paramedics say he was taken to hospital where he later died. The situation is not considered suspicious, but the Ministry of Labor is now investigating the incident at Canada Wheels. An Ottawa police officer convicted of assaulting a man nearly 5 years ago will have to resign, or he'll be fired after losing the appeal of his dismissal. Constable Goran Beric was found guilty of assault and assault with a weapon in October of 2023 in connection with an incident at an Ottawa community housing complex 2 years earlier. Beric was responding to a call when he struck a man with his baton and stepped on his neck for more than 2 minutes. Last year, a hearing officer ordered him to resign from the force. He appealed that penalty, but the decision was upheld last week. Ontario Provincial Police have made an arrest in connection with a homicide in Perth last month. 34-year-old Christo Allison Richards was found with life-threatening injuries in Last Dual Park on April 12th. He later died in hospital. 46-year-old Michael Lewis of Perth is now charged with conspiracy to commit murder. Arrest warrants remain outstanding for 2 suspects charged with second-degree murder. Police say Joseph Mador and Brayton Kennedy, both of Ottawa, may be in British Columbia. And we now know who the Ottawa Charge will face in the Walter Cup final.
For Ambrose. Ambrose on the ground, pull and her shot, she scores!
Marie-Philippe Poulain with a huge third-period goal, and that would go on to be the game winner. The Montreal Victoire taking down the Minnesota Frost 2-1 in Game 5. That means for the first time, the PWHL final will feature 2 Canadian teams. Game 1 is set for Thursday night in Montreal. And beyond the ice, in just 3 short years, the Charge have brought championship hockey hopes back into a city that has historically placed all of its eggs into a Senators-shaped basket.
I've played hockey since I was a young girl, so just being able to see these women, succeed and do things that I aspired to at a younger age. I'm 41 now, so getting to see these women be able to have a future in hockey is really inspiring for young girls, and I love it.
Thousands of fans packed the Canadian Tire Centre Sunday to watch Ottawa advance to the final. The first 2 games of the championship series will be in Montreal before the Charge return home for Games 3 on Monday. And following 2 big turnouts at the CTC for this playoff run, Charge General Manager Mike Hirschfeld said there are lots of discussions going on behind the scenes when asked about a potential move to the CTC for the team, adding he does not know where the Charge will be playing next year. To Queen's Park now, where new reports from Ontario's Auditor General are raising concerns about several issues, including truck licensing in the province and special education. Here's CTV's Queen's Park Bureau Chief Siobhan Morris.
They're powerful machines rumbling down Ontario's roads and highways. But the Auditor General's raising new questions about the training some truck drivers are getting. Her office hired undercover students to sign up, mostly at career colleges. In 2 cases,
students were not taught key elements such as left turns at major intersections, reverse parking, and emergency stopping.
Students were told to sign off on training they'd never done. The Premier expects training schools to maintain standards.
And if that's not happening, we get wind of it, we will shut them down.
But the auditor found a quarter of schools hosting basic training programs had never been inspected at all. Others were still handing out certificates even after being barred from doing so.
We have been overhauling this over the past 2 years and continue to do whatever we can and to ensure that we have the highest standards.
Fraud in trucker licensing and testing have been well documented for years.
The government's not doing what they need to do to protect you, then you should be mad.
The auditor spotlighting a gap in the money going to special education. Yes, it's gone up with inflation, but she notes schools are also seeing more children with more complex needs.
The funding is not keeping up with the growth, and that the school boards themselves are spending upwards of $200 million more on special ed than what they're receiving.
The Minister of Education feels the focus shouldn't be on a dollar figure, but
outcome. On the surface, would more EAs make sense? Perhaps, but only if you look at the actual mix. What does that student require?
Calandra admits the ministry hasn't done a good job of tracking outcomes or setting standards for when a child with special needs is excluded from a classroom.
This report very clearly tells him what we have been saying, what parents have been saying, what educators have been saying. They are failing our children, and they are putting them in harm's way.
Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
Well, the lineup is out for this year's City Folk Festival. Alice Cooper will be one of several big artists taking the stage. Other headliners include Alabama Shakes, Cameron Whitcomb, Third Eye Blind, and Of Monsters and Men. This year's festival will take place between September 16th to the 20th. It will also be in a new location, the festival grounds of the RA Center on Riverside Drive.
We're excited about the possibilities at the RA Center because they are building a festival ground there, and so it's really going to be about festivals and gives us some room to grow.
The festival used to be held on the Great Lawn at Lansdowne, which is now closed for construction as part 2 of the Lansdowne 2.0 project. A one-day pre-sale begins at 10 a.m. tomorrow, ahead of the full sale, which starts Thursday. It was a big night for the Ottawa Blackjacks, kicking off their CEBL season at TD Place.
7 to shoot. Tate drives. The runner is good. Count it.
Tyrell Tate with a nail in the coffin, reaching tonight's target score and sealing the win for Ottawa. 93-88. That's the final score over the Calgary Surge. Javonte Smart leading the charge for the Blackjacks tonight. He had 30 points in this one. Ottawa's next game is on Friday night. It'll be in Brampton against the Honey Badgers.
And for the first time, and I said I would never do it, I actually had my yard sprayed for ticks and mosquitoes because they are that bad this year.
It is that time of year. The ticks are coming back out, and we'll share some tips on how to protect yourself and your pets when we come back. There's a live look through our Centennial Glass Skycam. It is currently 9 degrees and no frost advisory is expected for tonight, unlike last night, but some unsavory conditions for tomorrow. Jackie.
Well, things for our overnight are slightly warming up just a bit. We're getting closer to those seasonal around this time of year. 5 degrees overnight. Cloudy skies for here in Ottawa, but again, parts of eastern Ontario could already start to see a little of the rain showers moving through. Different story for tomorrow. Only getting up to a 12 degrees for our daytime high. 10 to 15 millimeters of rain anticipated, but parts of the region could see much more. In terms of temperatures, yeah, we're sitting around 4 or 5 degrees for most of eastern Ontario. Tomorrow's daytime highs going to be closer to about 12, 13 degrees, and much of the region again anticipated to be covered in rain throughout the day. Now for Thursday, a closer look at that long term. The rain could continue for parts of the region into the overnight, so don't be surprised if you hear some rain in the early hours of Thursday morning, especially around Ottawa and Cornwall. It should clear out by Ottawa, but you might want your umbrella handy. It really is sticking and hovering around Cornwall and Montreal, this weather system, and it is coming from the east. The winds, it could likely stay there depending on if the direction of the wind changes. So we're keeping a close eye on this. So you can see that we could see showers for Thursday, 14 degrees, the anticipated daytime high. We may see some lingering showers as well for Friday into Saturday, but the good news is that we are going to be getting temperatures in the 20-degree mark.
Tick season is already in full swing here in our region, which also brings concerns of Lyme disease. CTV's Peter Sperling has more on the steps you can take to protect yourself and your family.
After a walk in the woods, Tracy Parks checks for ticks. A threat that can hit closer to home, too.
I thought my nicely manicured yard was safe. I was wrong.
Just recently, she found ticks on her dogs, herself, and family. A first for her.
In 55 years, I have never, ever had a tick.
Ticks can carry Lyme disease, and while the ones that bit her didn't, she's still not letting her guard down.
It is a concern just for individuals to be aware of the case that there is unfortunately Lyme disease that is located in the Ottawa region.
Ottawa Public Health says it's already seeing concern and questions about tick bites and Lyme disease this season.
The longer a tick is attached to someone's body, the greater the chance that if it has the Lyme disease bacteria, that it could transmit it to the individual.
If you do find one on you, OPH says to remove it as soon as possible.
To either take some needle nose tweezers and really go and try to remove the head gently, very slowly. Don't pull it all out at once because you risk decapitating the head and creating a localized infection. You can use a tick key as well. They climb upwards.
OPH recommends taking some simple steps to minimize exposure to black-legged ticks. Apply Health Canada approved insect repellent. Wear long sleeves, long pants with socks tucked in, and wear light-colored clothing so spotting ticks is easier.
I literally have my hiking shoes, and then I tucked my socks into my sweatpants.
Precautions Siobhan Oxley is taking on her walk in the woods.
I've been really lucky, but I'm just like very hyper cautious.
Parks continues to take precautions, even taking an extra step.
And for the first time, and I said I would never do it, I actually had my yard sprayed for ticks and mosquitoes because they are that bad this year.
Peter Sperling, CTV News.
There's only one city in Canada that can truly provide everything the bank needs.
Still ahead, Ontario's two biggest cities compete to host a new NATO defense bank, who the Premier is putting his weight behind after the break. The three worst roads in Quebec are all located in Gatineau, at least according to drivers. CAA Quebec releasing its annual list of worst roads in the province today, claiming the #1 spot, Pink Road. Clock Road in Gatineau was voted the second worst road in Quebec, and St. Raymond Boulevard was third. The list is compiled based on voting by drivers right across the province. And the race is heating up to be the Canadian headquarters of a new National Defence and Resilience Bank. 4 of Canada's largest cities, including Ottawa, are vying to host the bank. But even though the Premier is putting his weight behind Toronto, Ottawa's mayor says this city is the right location. Vancouver, Montreal, and Toronto, they are joining Ottawa as the cities that are competing to host the new defense bank. The federal government will choose where it goes, but Premier Doug Ford is trying to tip the scales in favor of Ontario's capital city. Speaking in Toronto today, he says the criteria the government is using to select a host city remains unclear, but he says Canada's largest city is the right choice. Now, the purpose of this defense bank is to provide long-term, low-cost financing for defense projects by NATO members and allies. And Ford argues it should be located near the headquarters of all 5 of Canada's largest banks.
There's only one city in Canada that can truly provide everything the bank needs, and that city is Toronto, backed by Team Ontario, backed by all the other cities surrounding the city of Toronto and Ontario. The bank needs a host city that is one of the largest financial hubs in North America.
Meantime, officials here in the nation's capital are pushing back, arguing Ottawa is the best situated city in the country to host the defense bank.
It allows the federal government to situate the bank in our 2 largest provinces, to situate it near the headquarters of national defense and the Canadian Armed Forces, to situate it close to the 130 foreign missions that are in our city, and to situate it near Parliament Hill.
The new defense bank could involve 40 countries holding more than $130 billion in assets while creating an estimated 3,500 jobs. Now, Sutcliffe is hoping to tap into that job creation, partnering with Gatineau's mayor earlier this year to sell the capital region as the ideal location for the bank. There is still no set timeline for when the federal government will make its final decision.
People are nervous when you have an issue like this. Is this the end of the Curiosity rover?
After the break, tense times for some Ontario researchers as the Mars Curiosity rover has a piece of rock stuck to its arm.
Ottawa is always on the move.
We're a big city
with a laid-back vibe.
Where foodies love their sweets.
And markets bursting with flavor.
Wrapped up in waterways.
And hot summer days.
This is a city where culture is on display.
And the future
meets the past.
Where people come together.
Always proud.
Often loud. Whee!
And positively the best place to live.
We move with you, Ottawa!
A NASA Mars mission took an unexpected turn recently when a large rock hitched a ride on the Curiosity rover. The problem was that the rock was stuck to a robotic arm holding a key scientific instrument, one that's monitored by researchers at the University of Guelph. CTV's Spencer Turcotte looks at how the team is working to fix the problem from more than 200 million kilometers away.
Repairing a robot with a rock stuck to its arm sounds like a tall task to begin with. But what do you do when that robot is on Mars and you're not?
You saw that something is not working or not normal. Then you looked at the pictures, woo.
NASA's Curiosity rover found itself in a sticky situation, all thanks to its curiosity. It drilled a sample from a 28-pound rock, but when the rover retracted its arm, the entire rock lifted from the ground, firmly attached.
We are looking at rocks, we are figuring out what they are made of, how they look, and once in a while we drill into the rock to extract powder to be analyzed by two big instruments looking for mineralogy and one looking for even organic material.
It's not as simple as telling the robot to shake it off. And with so much vital equipment on the rover, including the University of Guelph's alpha particle X-ray spectrometer, this became much more than a strange moment caught on camera.
We're talking about distances so far away that you can have 7 to 10 minute long lapses in communication. So an entire strategy had to be come up with. To my knowledge, they have not yet had this problem.
NASA engineers tried vibrating the drill to remove the Martian rock. No luck. Then they repositioned the arm. Still, the rock refused to let go. But after about a week and multiple attempts, the rock was freed, sending it crashing back to the red planet's surface.
Woo!
The rover survived without damage, as did the scientific instrument operated by U of G researchers.
I think people are nervous when you have an issue like this. Is this the end of the Curiosity rover? Well, in this case, it wasn't. We were able to push through and continue to gather data from it for hopefully years to come.
So Curiosity can now roll on with its Mars mission, making sure it leaves no stone unturned. Spencer Turcotte, CTV News, Kitchener.
Surreal. It's surreal to be a part of this production. It's surreal to be bringing it home.
Coming up, a full circle moment for an Ottawa actor who is bringing Moulin Rouge, the musical, to his hometown. One last live look through our Centennial Glass Skycam for tonight. It is 9 degrees out there right now, and we do expect some rain as we take a last look at the weather forecast. Jackie.
Well, we are starting things off around at 6 degrees. It will feel slightly cooler, though. Again, we've got wind gusts moving through, and by the time noon hour rolls around, we could see gusts up to 40 kilometers per hour. This in addition to the 10 to 15 millimeters of rain moving through eastern Ontario. 12 degrees, the anticipated daytime high for our Wednesday. Thursday, chance of showers will linger. 14, the anticipated daytime high. We could start to see some sun moving through Friday, and especially for the long weekend, we are eyeing Monday, where temperatures will be up to 22 degrees.
Finally for us tonight, an Ottawa actor is back home, starring as Toulouse-Lautrec in Moulin Rouge, the musical, which was on tonight at the NAC.
I grew up seeing shows there.
Yeah.
My parents used to have an opera subscription, so we would go when I was a young kid, and we'd go see like a couple operas a year. It's where I saw my first musicals, Avenue Q, Wicked, Lion King.
Wow.
So it's going to be so crazy to step into that theater today from the other side and then look at these audiences.
Alex Nicholson joining CTV Your Morning Ottawa today ahead of his performance tonight. He grew up in Ottawa and he went to Canterbury High School. He eventually moved to New York and now He's performing for audiences across North America. He will mark his 50th Moulin Rouge show in Ottawa this week. It's at the NAC until Sunday, but tickets are mostly sold out. And by all accounts, it's easy to see why. That is a popular show. I know some people here in our newsroom went to that show tonight. I hope they enjoyed it. I'm sure they did. I hope you enjoyed the newscast. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great night.